When James Franklin took the Penn State job in 2014, he walked into one of the hardest rebuilding projects in college football. The program was still scarred by the end of the Paterno era, with sanctions from the Sandusky scandal gutting the roster. The brand had been tarnished. Franklin arrived from Vanderbilt with confidence and charisma, selling a message that Penn State could be great again. He promised to dominate the state and restore what was lost. In time, he did exactly that. He turned Penn State into contenders. The problem was, every time the lights got brighter, and every time the games were bigger, Penn State would fall short. Franklin's teams were always really good, but they were almost never great. Franklin's first year was about survival. He was trying to hold everything together with a limited roster and an offensive line that could barely protect its quarterback, Christian Hackenberg. But that season brought one of the first real glimpses of hope. In October, Penn State hosted 13th ranked Ohio State in a whiteout. It was the first time in years that Beaver Stadium really felt alive again. The crowd was deafening, and the game went to double overtime, and Penn State fought really hard like they had something to prove. They ended up losing 31-24, but it didn't feel like a loss. It felt like Penn State football was breathing again. Later that year, Michigan State came to town and handled them easily, 34-10. It was a reminder that there was still a long way to go. Franklin finished the year a respectable 7-6. The second year was more of the same. Penn State could beat average teams, but every time they ran into a ranked opponent, they folded. They lost to top-ranked Ohio State, lost 23-21 against Northwestern, and lost 28-16 against Michigan, and 55-16 against Michigan State. All of those teams were ranked. All of them exposed the same weaknesses. Penn State lacked size, experience, and consistency to compete with the best teams in the Big Ten. Franklin's record against ranked opponents through 2 seasons was 0 wins and 6 losses. 2016 would be the year that everything changed. It didn't start that way, as in September, 4th-ranked Michigan demolished Penn State 49-10. It looked like another lost season, but from that blowout came a spark. A few weeks later, in a packed Beaver Stadium crowd, 2nd-ranked Ohio State came to town. Late in the game, Penn State blocked a field goal and returned it for a touchdown. The upset was complete. It was the biggest win since the sanctions. Penn State went on to win the Big Ten championship that year and earned a trip to the Rose Bowl against 9th-ranked USC. The Rose Bowl turned into one of the greatest games of the decade. Trace McSorley and Sam Darnold traded punches, and it came down to the final seconds. USC hit a field goal to win 52-49. Penn State had lost, but it didn't matter. They had returned to national relevance. The 2017 team was loaded. Saquon Barkley was the face of college football, and Trace McSorley was giving defenses trouble with his mobile ability, and the defense was stronger than ever before. Penn State started 7-0 and looked like real college football playoff contenders. Then came the trip to Ohio State. The 6th-ranked Buckeyes trailed by 11 with 8 minutes left. Then, Buckeyes quarterback J.T. Barrett caught fire. Ohio State scored 3 straight times and won 39-38. The next week, Penn State went to East Lansing and lost to the 24th-ranked Michigan State Spartans on a last-second field goal. 2018 followed a similar script. In the whiteout game against 4th-ranked Ohio State, Penn State led by 12 in the 4th quarter. The defense was holding on, and it felt like redemption was coming for the blown lead in 2017. Then, Ohio State came back once again. With the game on the line on 4th and 5, Penn State ran a draw play. It was stopped instantly, and Ohio State won 27-26. A few weeks later, they got crushed by the 5th-ranked Michigan Wolverines 42-7, and in the Citrus Bowl, they lost to 14th-ranked Kentucky 27-24. By 2019, everyone started to see a pattern with Penn State. They rose to 4th in the rankings after a hot start. They then lost to 17th-ranked Minnesota 31-26 in the rivalry game, and 2 weeks later, 2nd-ranked Ohio State beat them 28-17. 10 wins again, but no playoff shot. Franklin's teams were stuck in a loop, good enough to be in the conversation for the college football playoff, but never good enough to actually get in it. Then came 2020, the COVID year. The stands were empty, the energy was gone, and the season spiraled. Penn State opened 0-5. the worst start in school history. One of those early season losses was to third-ranked Ohio State, 38-25. They finished 4-5, but considering this was the COVID year, a lot of teams had weird seasons, and Franklin essentially got a pass for the year. In 2021, the team started off hot again. 5 straight wins, ranked in the top 5. They visited third-ranked Iowa and led 17-3. Then, starting quarterback Sean Clifford got hurt. Without him, the offense fell apart and they lost 23-20. The season unraveled from there. They lost to 5th-ranked Ohio State, 6th-ranked Michigan, and 21st-ranked Arkansas in their bowl game. Franklin's ranked record got worse, and the narrative stayed the same. They were always right there, but never over the top. By 2022, Michigan and Ohio State were playoff machines, and Penn State was just the next best thing. 5th-ranked Michigan ran for 418 yards in a 41-17 blowout. At home against 2nd-ranked Ohio State, Penn State led in the 4th quarter, but turned the ball over 4 times in 10 minutes to ultimately lose 44-31. It was the same movie again. In 2023, things did not change. Penn State lost to 3rd-ranked Ohio State 20-12 and lost to 3rd-ranked Michigan 24-15 and lost the Peach Bowl as well to the 11th-ranked Ole Miss Rebels 38-25. Another 10-win season, another round of somewhat close games, and another year where they couldn't beat a top 5 team. 2024 seemed to be the year that it might all come together. Penn State made the college football playoff after it was expanded to 12 teams, even despite a loss to Ohio State in the regular season and also a loss to Oregon in the Big Ten championship game. They faced 7th-ranked Notre Dame in the Orange Bowl semifinal after beating SMU and Boise State to get there. They led 24-17 late in the game on the edge of the national championship. Then, a costly mistake by Drew Aller forced the ball into Notre Dame's hands, and they kicked the game-winning field goal to win 27-24. Heartbreaking finish. The final season began with hope again. The whiteout was against 6th-ranked Oregon, and it was electric. The game went to double overtime, and Penn State lost 30-24. After that, the season completely fell apart. They lost to unranked UCLA. They lost to Northwestern. The season spiraled, and Franklin was fired that November. 12 seasons, more than 100 wins, a Big Ten championship, and countless what-ifs. James Franklin didn't fail at Penn State. He rebuilt a program that was broken and made it matter again. He recruited at a high level, restored pride, and made Beaver Stadium one of the best atmospheres in the country to play. But he never took the next step. Against ranked opponents, his record was terrible. Against top 10 teams, more of the same. He was the perfect coach to rebuild a program, but not for the breakthrough to that national championship. He just couldn't deliver in the defining moments that separate good programs from great ones. For 12 years, Penn State lived in that middle ground. Never bad, usually very good, but never elite. Every season was the same. Beat the teams you should, lose to the ones you can't afford to. 10 wins, 2 losses, another speech about being close. In the end, that's the story of the James Franklin era at Penn State. He brought them back from the dead, but he could never get them to the mountaintop. They were good enough to dream, but not good enough to finish it.